I'm Frank Old, and this is my wife Dale. I'm from Iowa, and we know most everyone here. In discussing these oils, I think it's going to raise some questions about a subject that is going to be a problem for a long time to come. And maybe I could get some comments from the audience too on these subjects. The first subject is unsigned oils. And if you notice in page 35 and 36 of the book, it lists several oils and refers to them as unsigned. So I wondered if maybe someone from the family might have a comment as to if RA did put out oils and sell them unsigned.
I knew all of it was. He sold on what's at the 50. But I'm sure they were used. The company knew.
They may have known, and henceforth it may say underneath, from painting by RAFox.
Yeah.
Is the lady still here from Thomas Murphy? She was a second ago. She must have just walked out. I was going to ask her if they had oils coming in unsigned. Does anybody else have any comment, first of all, on that? Unsigned oils.
I have an unsigned one that I think is a preliminary sketch of Home Sweet Home. And it's almost identical to the print that has been turned in, except at the bottom of the path where it swings one way on the print that's been turned in. On the preliminary oil, it swings to the other way. The curtains in the windows, the ducts, everything is identical to the print that's been turned in, except the path turns to the other way, and it is not signed.
I also have an unsigned oil. It's the ducts. I bought it about 20 years ago before anybody heard about Fox. It was unsigned. I picked it up in a little town named Folsom, and I bought it for my husband for a Christmas gift because he collects animals. And lo and behold, when the book came out, I jumped up upside down, and he said that's his proudest possession that he owned. It was the one in the back of the book that it is narrow, and it's only about that high, and it is unsigned.
I wish I'd have had time to ask Rita maybe if she had a comment, because the fact in the book on page 35 and 36, several of the oils, it does say unsigned. So,
well, I think that, the possibility there would be where he knew that if he was painting on permission for a publisher and knew that different names were going to be used on it, then I think he left it somewhere.
Bill?
Also, one other thing, in other areas of things like this, sometimes if maybe the quality of the work wasn't up to his liking, he may felt not to want to put a name on it. Somehow it would have worked it out through other areas and eventually came upon something else.
I'm trying to get everyone's comments before I put my foot in my mouth on some things that I haven't discovered.
If you do look in the back of the book, if whoever has books on 131, it will show the two here. They look like they could have been made as a mate, up with geese and ducks flying. And it does show one with his signature on the bottom, and it does show the other one without a signature. I have the one without the signature.
Yeah. Page 35 and 36 lists 6 or 7 oils unsigned. The other question is, anybody aware of any oils ever signed with a pseudonym? Any comments on that?
I saw a weight rise, I probably was the right one. It was not signed. It's the one in the book. I forget the figure number, but it's the candy one. And I thought about doing things, so I'm definitely going to go back and buy it. The more I'm thinking about it, it was an old one, and I feel it probably was one. I think the signature probably maybe was added on some of those, when it printed or something.
Okay, the other thing that crops up from time to time is these scenery changes. You're probably aware of this one. This is by Fox, and this is signed Elmer Lewis. It's the same lines with a different background. Sheltering Bower has been found with the identical deer with a different scenery. And then in Moonlight Blue, the Indian Maiden and Miniota, the Indian Maiden in the canoe, everything's identical except the scenery. Any comments on how that could happen, other than being two separate oils? Boy, I spent some time talking with a man who works in the printing industry in Minneapolis and is familiar with Brown and Bigelow and some of the things that went on there. First of all, these oils were considered to be not very valuable at the time that the publishers acquired them. And it was his experience at Brown and Bigelow that sometimes oils were shot for reproduction and signed afterwards, which could include the pseudonyms or RAFox. I don't have definite answers. All I can do is tell you some of the things that I was told. Scenery changes, he said, were done sometimes. Oils were actually cut. Pictures were just cut out and pasted on another oil and shot. Because like I say, they were not considered valuable. Once they were shot, they were considered of no further use. This also, things could be done with plates and things could be done with the actual photographs as far as cutting and pasting them up. Those two there are that's the one that's in the composites, number 442. It says from painting by RAFox. This one is signed Elmer Lewis down in the right-hand corner, which is like this oil as far as the background goes. This oil was damaged at some point in time right here, and some painting was done down there. So if it did ever say Elmer Lewis, it may have been covered up. It's from the time period. Sure, I don't read it. I think I've probably raised a lot of questions on that subject, but I don't have the answers. It's just that I think that's going to be a problem in the future, is dealing with unsigned oils and determining whether or not they really are by Fox.
Don't you think that the age we got indicated that they would have to stay? I mean, nobody would have copied this work 50 years ago or 60 years ago. So if they can authenticate the age, I have to say there's a possibility.
I agree.
I think they definitely look like it. There's very good, you know, what few I have saw, they look awful good to me.
Okay, my wife is going to talk about these two.
This oil is composite number 334. It's been found untitled, attributed to RAFox, copyright CDW Stern and Company, Incorporated, Philadelphia, and Tim Roble turned it in back in 1984. This oil happens to be unsigned, although we've not taken it to a professional to have it blacklighted. It does look like there's possibly a signature that's been painted over in the lower right-hand corner. And that's basically all I know about it.
The clips on the back here are original. They say patent February 18th, 1883 and 1885. It's an early oil. It's not signed.
I noticed in that print, it's a very hard signature to pull out. You have to play just because it's red or black to really see. That particular print, you can hardly see the signature, at least in my print. And so I think it's in there and you get something what I was thinking.
This next one is number 455 in the composites. It's entitled Woodland and Cattle. it was found by Santelli's. Are they here? I guess not. And,
It has the identical clips on the back from the same dates on those.
and their print evidently was found signed RAFox by the Art Interchange Company in New York. Several years ago, I happened to pick up this catalog and price list that happens to be from exactly that company, the Art Interchange Company. And the nearest date I could come is sometime between 1904 and 1907. And inside the catalog, there is a photograph of that exact picture, that oil, called Woodland and Cattle. It says oil by RAFox, size 13.5 by 16 inches, which is exactly the same size as this unsigned oil. There is, I believe, some damage along this lower bottom of the print, and if that's where the signature had been, it's probably flaked off.
Or it's likely that it maybe was never signed,
Yeah.
which is going to be the problem in the future with a lot of unsigned oils.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
Now we'd like to have the people that are the proud owners of the black and print come up and tell us about it and where they found it.
Actually, my wife found it, so I'm here talking about it. I don't know much about it. There's no print they turned in on it. It's got varying degrees of damage on it. We've got it on the second day of an estate sale. I went back to get a razor, thought I could get a little cheaper, and she comes up with this. We also bought at the same sale another pastel, which was signed Gene Pragler, and we have since found a print on that one.
It's Gene Pressler.
Pressler.
I'd be interested in that.
It's beautiful, and it looks, it's the one with the girl at the well, and she's got a white.
It's called the Old Oak Bucket. Gorgeous.
It is. It's prettier than this one. But anyway, we got them very, very super reasonable. This one was in bad condition. It was a wasp nest, and there still is a little on the back. We're very lucky somebody didn't put their foot through this thing. I don't think it wasn't framed. As I noticed, some of those were never framed. So you just wonder where they laid all these years. But that's all I got to say about it. And if I could get it into your composites or whatever you would record it. That's it.
Now I want to tell you that Pat Gibson has the rest of the story. Just this last week, I did find the print of that, and I haven't taken a picture and turned it in yet, but it will be in the next composite. That was like
We brought that forward to one of our club meetings one night, and it is a group of other prints there too, and numerous people were taking pictures. I don't know how many of us took pictures of that thing, and not a one came out. They were taken from different angles, different cameras, and there was at least, I think, 2 or 3 of us taking pictures. We didn't get a one.
The print is very bright. Well, it's kind of dark, but I mean, the face shows.
Of course, these were mostly all flash. I mean, if it had been outside, it probably would have been different.
Yeah, I take them outside, but oil.
You run into that problem on oils?
Yeah, you get a glare, you need to tilt it a little in that.
Or if you lay it flat on the floor and take it. Lay it flat on the floor.
Yeah.
Well, there was 2 or 3 of us taking pictures that night, and not a one of them come up.
And we do have a photo book here. Anybody who wants to look through it and check on any of the ones we showed, you're more than welcome to go through the book. Maybe there's something there you recognize and help. I'll put it back there.
Thank you.